9 months since we last visited this iconic venue for the year's opening encounter, we are back at the spiritual home of Australian motorcycle racing. Hello and welcome to Phillip Island for round 6 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. The championship point situation heading into round 6 sees Mike Jones hold a 29-point lead over defending champion Wayne Maxwell with 5 races left in the championship. Brian Starring still holds down 3rd place, a further 24 points behind Maxwell, and is still very much a championship challenger.
And what a place this is to ride too. Turn 1, 210 kilometres an hour, back down through the gearbox there, breathing on the brakes, quick acceleration burst up to the southern loop, keep it steady through the middle of that corner, get on the gas nice and early through one of the most iconic corners on this track, 3rd gear, 270, sideways through there into the newly named Miller corner. Be careful here, you can get caught out on the way out. We've seen people high side out of there before. Head towards the ocean, into Siberia, turn 5. On the left, you might see some shoulders scraping the ground there. Click up through the box, 90 kilometres an hour, all the way up to the famous Hayshed corner, where you hit 160 kilometres an hour. It's so critical to get the line right through that one, all the way out to the edge of the track. Click back through the box and up over Lukey Heights into the hard braking corner through there at 100 kilometres an hour down into MG. Quick click through the gearbox out of this one. Want to get through 1st, 2nd, 3rd gear on the edge of the tyre. You can really feel it squirming through here, out to the edge of the track and onto the most important corner at this circuit, turn 12. Really important to get a good drive out of there. Tuck down under the screen, get over that finish line and get a great lap time.
A great lap time it was for Josh Waters in qualifying. He took the Boost Mobile Racing Ducati V4R Panigale to a sensational time that will have qualified him very high on the World Superbike grid, and he was extremely happy with it as well. His teammate Wayne Maxwell also joins him on the front row of the grid, and also Daniel Falzon, who set a blistering lap time to secure 2nd place. Race 1 got underway with a very wet track under the riders. There was a bit of a collision between Crew Halliday and Arthur Ceces as they made their way off the line, but Daniel Falzon got a rocketing start from the front row of the grid and led them through turn 1, but then it was an attack of the Boost Mobile Ducatis with Maxwell swooping past on the entry into turn 2 and then crashing out at the exit of turn 2. His championship challenge here at Phillip Island could have been badly affected by that mistake.
Yeah, he just got on the gas a little bit too early there, and as he watches the rest of the field go by, he'll be ruining that mistake. Matt Walters was another one to go down early on. These guys really needed to get down to business. Brian Starring, a group of 4 there, Glenn Allerton in the back of that, and Herfoss had some really good pace early on, but it was Starring just easing into things. He's the guy that's done the most wet weather laps in practice, and I tell you what, keep an eye on him for later on.
Yeah, it was no surprise to see Ant West on board bike number 13 that's been fast all weekend, joined that lead group of 4, but then unfortunately just started to drop off the back of the lead group while Arthur Ceces was making a charge forward. Brian Starring took the lead on board the Desmo Sport Ducati, and despite the best efforts of Glenn Allerton and Josh Waters, they couldn't just quite get close enough to put a pass on.
The last time that Starring won was at this circuit, and he had it all on the edge, feet off the foot pegs, just keeping that concentration. You can see the concentration in his eyes. It's been a long, long time between drinks, and he really needs to have a good weekend here this weekend, and he did as he crossed the line and won his first race since this time at the start of the year.
So Starring took the victory from Glenn Allerton in 2nd and Josh Waters on the podium in 3rd place, and the Desmo Sport Ducati team very happy with that result. Plenty more action coming up on today's show. Stay tuned. We're here at Phillip Island, the iconic circuit, the home of Australian motorcycle racing. Josh Waters will start from pole position. Daniel Falzon on the first row of the grid as well, along with Wayne Maxwell. That's a very strong first row with Brian Starring, Mike Jones and Ant West, who's been fast all weekend, on row 2.
Troy Herfoss, Crew Halliday and Glenn Allerton. Row 3, row 4, Arthur Ceces, Senna Asjus and Jed Metcher. Keep an eye on Senna's, Brock Pearson, Bo Beaton, Billy McConnell. Row 5, and Max Stauffer, who'll start from pit lane at the back of the grid. They're ready to go.
Right, ready to go racing for Alpine Stars Superbike race number 2. We're in the starters' hands. Lights are on. Superbikes are go. Another good start from Daniel Falzon, it looks like as well. Where's Arthur Ceces? cruising through the field as he always does at the start of these races, and Falzon once again should lead them down in towards turn 1, but we saw Maxwell was very strong on the run in towards turn 2. That's Waters in second place. Herfoss is up into third place as well on that 30th anniversary liveried Fireblade this weekend, and Jones is up to fourth place. Allerton in fifth, and is it Brian Starring back in sixth position, and then Wayne Maxwell is behind Brian Starring in about seventh place.
Yeah, absolutely. Where is Mike Jones? Because that is going to be the battle of the race. Jonesy at the moment looks like he's in fifth, just in front, but Maxwell goes around the outside and he's wide.
Yeah, Brian Starring also coming into contact there with Jones, and once again on the run in towards turn 1. Herfoss is up into second, pushing Waters wide on the run through turn 4. Allerton has gone through with him as well on the Spectro Performance Oils Film BMW M1000RR. Of course, Allerton was second in yesterday's race and looking to back it up with another podium here at Phillip Island, a circuit that he loves and also goes very well at.
And talking about going very well, Daniel Falzon, another guy that goes very well at this circuit, but look at Herfoss up the inside. Falzon's won 3 out of 3 here before. Herfoss didn't have such a great race one, but he's making amends for that right at the moment.
Well, we heard him on the grid. He said that he loves these conditions. He thrives in tricky conditions, and he's got good dry race pace as well. And Herfoss has just pinned the ears back, and he's pulled out a small lead over now Glenn Allerton, moving up into second place down the inside of Daniel Falzon on the entry into turn 12. That's a high-risk manoeuvre to try and get through there at such a very fast corner. Now Waters unleashes the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech V4R. Can't get past a very rapid M1000RR of Glenn Allerton, though. It has to slot back into fourth place. Where is Wayne Maxwell? There he is behind Brian Starring. No, trying to go around the outside of Brian Starring. He's ahead of Mike Jones and pulling back a few vital championship points.
And Waters just made the move up the inside there on Allerton. That's a nice, smooth move into the southern loop, just dipped up the inside, and he's slowly working his way forward. The man up front, Herfoss, runs really wide and loses spots there, which puts Josh Waters in the lead.
Yeah, Herfoss ran extremely wide there, and it was both Falzon and Waters that had the better track position. And a heavy price to pay for Daniel Falzon, who's managed to hold off Glenn Allerton, though.
Well, he's still in third position, but that just goes to show you, Herfoss didn't do anything wrong, but remember, that wind is rushing that way across the track, and I would say that he got blown wide there, but look at that from Allerton. That was a move and a half into one of the fastest right-hand corners on this circuit.
You can see Maxwell also all over the track trying to find a way past the very rapid Brian Starring on board bike number 67 as they come down in towards turn 10. Maxwell just manages to sneak up the inside, and look who is just right behind Brian Starring at centre Adgis in his Superbike debut for Penrite Honda, as we see a replay of that moment where Herfoss ran wide and then was very lucky to keep it on track. The AMX replay showing there exactly how wide Herfoss was on the run into turn 4 on that last lap.
Yeah, super, super lucky on that one. But look at Josh Waters out front now. He's gone flying through with a 1:32, and then up the inside goes Starring again. Sorry, that's
Maxwell.
Maxwell. Up the inside goes Maxwell. Good move. Another man that goes so well around this circuit. Not such a good race one, but he's doing exactly what he needs to do here. It's going to be interesting to see if we talk about the championship, now that the 2 Boost Mobile bikes are up in the podium positions, with Allerton stuck in between them, or Troy Herfoss stuck in between them at the moment. What is that man in front going to do? Is Josh Waters going to slow down and let Maxwell go through?
I've just been watching Maxwell over that last half lap, Steve, and he's riding extremely hard. The bike is moving around all over the place. It's not the usual smooth Wayne Maxwell that we can see, so he's really pushing on here. Down to KP.
Craig McMartin, the team boss and owner of Wayne Maxwell's team, he thinks he might have just held the clutch a little long off the start line.
That's why he was back in 7th place as they went through turn 2 for the first time. Great shot there of Senna Adgis coming across the top of Lukey Heights. What a very talented young man that is, making a sensational Superbike debut here this weekend. Look who has also arrived with the lead group, a man that we know is very fast around here at Phillip Island. That blue and yellow combination could only be one person. Crew Halliday's arrived, and I think things are about to get a bit more exciting for Glenn Allerton and Brian Starring.
Yeah, Mike Jones down in 8th position at the moment for the championship. You can just see there, once again, Maxwell moves into that 2nd position. So it's Boost Mobile by K-Tech Ducati 1-2 at the moment, with a decent gap, 1.5 seconds, 1.7 seconds now between the 2 Ducatis out front. Herfoss in third.
And Josh Waters set the fastest lap of the race at 1:32.268 on that last lap. A 1:32.326 for Maxwell, a 33.2 for Herfoss. Glenn Allerton, a 33.8. Crew Halliday has moved up to fourth place. He's got the better of Glenn Allerton and Brian Starring with a 33.166. I said that only a lap ago that he'd arrived and he was about to make things very interesting, and he's done just that. Now he's got his sights set on Troy Herfoss on the Fireblade in front.
Yeah, well, Crew Halliday's a decent rider at this circuit. He's also had good results. A couple of years ago, we've said it before, but only guy that could stay with Wayne Maxwell. This sort of track, this flowing track, really does suit his style as he nips past Daniel Falzon there.
Also, Ant West right behind Falzon as well on the Moto Go Yamaha bike number 13. So Jones moving up one position, up into seventh place now, just ahead of Falzon. Here comes Westy down the inside of Falzon. Couldn't quite get past. Falzon was very late on the brakes at the apex of turn 10. No room for Ant West to get through.
No, we've got to keep an eye on Westy because he alluded at the start of this race that his Dunlop shod machine would be very, very strong at the start. He's passed the man now, Daniel Falzon, so interesting to see. Let's head down to KP.
I've got Mike Jones as crew chief here. Tell us about his strategy during this race and right now. He's in P7 at the moment. He's picking them off.
He's just basically playing it smart because he's got a target on his back now, so he'll just pick them off one by one, slowly move ways forward. He pretty much only has to finish from 5th pretty much for the rest of the year, and he can possibly win the championship, so it's a bit of a strategy.
Thanks.
Yep, playing it smart is Mike Jones. Of course, the action and the pace is really on up front. Crew Halliday, look how much he's managed to claw back on Troy Herfoss on the last lap. Crew Halliday was almost a full second faster than Troy Herfoss in front.
Crew Halliday did the same lap time virtually as Waters out, well, quicker than Waters out front.
And Wayne Maxwell's just set the fastest lap of the race too with a 32.186.
Brian Starring there just in front. Mike Jones on a rush forward now. Yeah, 32.186 on lap 4 for Wayne Maxwell. The woes from race 1 behind him now. He's really got the hammer down, doing the best job he can. That gap to Josh Waters, his teammate out front, is slowly coming down. 1.26, the gap now between those two Ducatis.
Well, for Wayne Maxwell, that lap of 0.4 off the outright lap record here in these windy conditions, I think gives a fair indication of how hard Maxwell is pushing. And as they come across the line, Maxwell was only a 1/10 of a second faster than our race leader, Josh Waters. On the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech machine. Crew Halliday was a second slower. 0.4 of a second slower. Herfoss was a full second slower.
Well, there's 5 points between first place and second place, and that man that we're looking at on screen now needs those 5 points. His teammate leads the way. He hasn't had such a good year up to this point, but Mike Jones now working his way forward. His crew chief says he only needs to finish 5th, and he is doing a good job at that.
Trying to hold off a very brisk pack behind him, but Crew Halliday is also trying to find a way, a very brisk Troy Herfoss at the moment. As they come down towards Siberia, Crew taking some very creative lines, trying to set up a pass here as they drive out of Siberia and up the hill, where they'll go left and then right through the hay shed, which is a dauntingly fast corner. True, no room up the inside for Crew to get through there. He'll be looking to try and maybe get down the inside at turn 10. Brian Starring the next one through with Jones, Allerton, West, Falzon. Senna Adjus rounding out the top 10. Arthur CC's in 11th. Brock Pearson in 12th. Jed Metcher in 13th. Billy McConnell in 14th. Matt Walters up to 15th ahead of Ben Burke in 16th. Ted Collins in 17th. Bo Beaton in 18th. Alistair Hugenbosen in 19th. And Max Stouffer is up into 20th place on board bike number 27 after that bike stalled on the grid and they couldn't get it started and having to start either from pit lane or the back of the grid.
Well, he's got a good slipstream this time as Crew Halliday. Let's see, he's pulled out of the slipstream, but that CBR Honda very, very quick down the straight. Dives up the inside, can't do it. Herfoss too strong into turn 1.
Well, just shows you how much drive they're getting out of the Fireblade off turn 12, because we know how fast that Yamaha was. At the first round, Crew Halliday pulled out of the slipstream of Glenn Allerton's M1000RR BMW and just sailed on by. So the Fireblade is certainly working very well. I know that Paul Free has been working extremely hard on getting the performance level of that bike up to a standard where Troy can actually fight at the front.
Yeah, top speed has never been his problem, but you know, it's rideability is what they've been working on.
Well, Westy down the inside of Glenn Allison, got in there too deep, too late, and he's lost the front on board the Moto Go Yamaha. Allison saw him coming, just had to stand the Spectro Oils.film BMW up, and unfortunately Westy has gone down at Miller Corner.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Anthony West. Meanwhile, Crew Halliday still stuck behind Troy Herfoss. He seems to have more corner speed, but Herfoss can you know, like hit the brakes harder. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 situation. Mike Jones also struggling at the moment to find his way past Brian Starring.
So Jones sitting in 6th position, Starring in 5th. We saw how good Brian Starring was in yesterday's wet race. Doesn't seem to have the same pace today. But the very windy conditions probably playing havoc with everybody at different areas of the track as we come round through turn 12 now and onto the Gardner Straight. We're on lap 8 of 12. And there's unfortunately a long walk back to the pits for Ant West. Here's a replay. You can see him come up the inside of Glenn Allison on the Spectro Oils.film BMW. And unfortunately, you can see there on the AMX replay, just didn't get it right at the apex, lost the front end. Allison, who'd stood it up and allowed Westy to go through, then set sail for Siberia.
And meantime, Crew Halliday nearly through. You can't get much closer than that. Try and go around the outside there, up the inside. It's difficult to pass there, Crew, but you can just see every time they get into that upright braking area, both Brian Starring and Troy Herfoss seem to be stronger than the Yamaha riders. The Yamahas have got more turning, but they just don't have the upright braking, which is what you really need to pass here.
So there's Jones going down the inside of Brian Starring on the AMX replay at the entry to turn 2. And that was the favour repaid at turn 4 for Brian Starring, and he still maintains that position just ahead of Mike Jones as they go across the top of the hill at Lukey Heights there and down in towards turn 10. So both the Yamaha racing team riders at the moment involved in titanic struggles with a couple of men that have won quite a few of Australian championships.
Absolutely. It looks like Brian Starring's lacking a little bit of edge grip compared to Mike Jones behind him. You can just see their Crew once again rushes in, takes a massively wide line to get a big run onto the straight. But that Fireblade, one of the fastest bikes out there in the straight line, even in the slipstream, he gets up next to him, and then when they hit the braking area, you know, you just can't get past Herfoss there.
Well, and this circuit probably suits that new Fireblade a lot more than what the old one was, because this one does have good top speed, but it's a lot harder to ride on the shorter, trickier circuits.
There
like
we
Wakefield
go.
Park, Starring runs a fraction wide, but Jones not able to get up the inside. I think if it was for the race win and the championship was on the line, Jones probably would have gone there, but in that situation, it was probably the smarter move to not go there.
Well, I don't think that Mike Jones will want to finish 5th in every race and win by 1 point, that's for sure. He doesn't want to make that happen. There's still a lot of racing to go this year. He needs to ride better than he is, and he needs to get past Starring, that's for sure.
Well, Maxwell is right onto the back of Josh Waters now on the last lap. It was a 32.9 for Waters, a 32.6 for Maxwell. The lead over the third place rider, Troy Herfoss, is about 5 seconds. So the two Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech machines are in a class of their own at the moment, with Maxwell now stalking his teammate.
Yeah, Maxwell's run a brilliant race to this point. It's going to be interesting to see how easy the number 21 Josh Waters makes it for Maxwell to get past. I'm sure there won't be any shenanigans between these two.
Well, and also remember 6 Australian Superbike Championships between these two riders as they make their way onto the start-finish straight now. Very impressive Phillip Island stats for both of those riders as well. Wayne Maxwell has had 51 starts here at Phillip Island for 21 wins. That's in Superbike class only. So very impressive for him. And Josh Waters has had 36 race starts for 8 wins, but 24 podiums along the way. And remember, Josh Waters wrapped up his 3rd Australian Superbike Championship here only a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Maxwell's definitely on a mission here at the moment. He's doing a real good job.
So there is the current live point score situation. 268 for Mike Jones, 233 for Wayne Maxwell. So clawing back vital points is Maxwell, starring back to third place with 230 points. Herfoss would be up to fourth place with 200, and Glenn Allerton fifth with 194. But that could change depending on where Wayne Maxwell finishes, if he can get ahead of his teammate, and also if Brian Starring and Mike Jones swap places a few more times, there could be another change in points there.
Well, as we've seen in the racing from yesterday, anything can happen. Like, you think you're in the lead, you're out the front there. Maxwell in front as he made that pass down the straight before. He's got his teammate behind him, everything's safe, but you can see they're still riding hard, these guys, because Maxwell, he wants to prove he's the best Ducati rider. He doesn't want to come into the pit and have to say, well, you know, thanks to Josh for slowing down and letting me win. Maxwell wants to prove that he's the best.
Well, they were both just fractionally back into the 33s on that last lap. So they come round to complete this lap now. We're on lap 10, so that will be 10 laps completed as we set off on the penultimate journey around Phillip Island. 32.9 for Maxwell, 33.4 for Josh Waters. Remember, the fastest lap of the race was a 32.186 for Wayne Maxwell. That was set on lap 4. Top speeds also nudging around the 3:10 mark, except for Mike Jones, who's recorded a 316 kilometre an hour top speed. Senna Agis 315. Arthur Cece's 315 as well, but pretty much all of our top riders all the way back to about 14th or 15th position, all 300 kilometres an hour plus on the Gardner Straight.
Yeah, these bikes, they're so standard, but they're also so fast nowadays, almost as fast as the World Superbikes that are racing here on the same weekend. So it's so close. Mike Jones is through now on the number 67. Good to see that. Moves up another spot.
I don't think Brian Starring has given up on 5th place just yet. He's going to try and get drive out of that Siberia corner and up the hill now.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to stay with him, because I think that Mike Jones has got more mid-corner speed. And I mean, mid-corner speed is everything around this circuit. If you've got grip and turning, you can have good lap times. And just to me, it looked like Starring was just missing something there on the edge of the tyre.
So Maxwell leads, Josh Waters in second, Halliday up to third, Herfoss in fourth. As we come round to get the last lap forward now, it is the Wayne train chugging away to another win here at Phillip Island. That would make it 22 race wins for Wayne Maxwell. That's at Phillip Island only, and only on a superbike. When you count all of his races, they've all been on superbikes here as well. So great results for Wayne Maxwell. Here we go. There's Allerton, Senna Agis, and Arthur Cece's having a good battle. It was only a year or so ago that Senna Agis was spending a lot of time riding push bikes and training with Glenn Allerton before he went overseas. Now he's actually racing with him on track on board a superbike.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Allerton. He was looking pretty strong at the start of the race, but now he's just drifted back a bit, and it's a matter of to see whether Senna's going to try and dip up the inside of him there on this final lap. And Arthur Cece's, he's so close to a decent 7th position, but he's back in 9th at the moment. And Daniel Falzon's hanging in there too.
Yeah, Daniel Falzon doing a good job just rounding out the top 10 on board that William Adams Cat Yamaha R1. As Maxwell comes across the top of Lukey Heights for the final time and down in towards 10. Turn 10 is going to be a Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech 1-2 as Maxwell comes round to negotiate these final 2 corners and set sail for the finish line. 25 championship points on offer here for Wayne Maxwell and Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech. Waters will take 2nd place. Can Crew Halliday hold off Troy Herfoss for 3rd as they come to the line? But congratulations to Wayne Maxwell. Perfect opportunity to make amends for yesterday's crash at race 2 in race number 1 of the weekend. Crew Halliday takes 3rd place, Herfoss 4th, and Mike Jones was a very close 5th place as they came across the line. In actual fact, Mike Jones set his fastest lap of the race on the last lap, and Glenn Allerton just holds off Senna Agis in the run to the line for 7th place. Agis in 8th, Arthur Cece's in 9th, and Daniel Falzon takes 10th. But the very happy Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech team after that one.
Yeah, absolutely. What a team those guys make. Pretty formidable way to finish off the year. You can just see there a bit of a pat on the back from Maxwell to Josh Waters. Great job there. Starring, they need to find a little bit of edge grip if they want to improve in the final race here this weekend. Definitely missing something there.
Well, there's confirmation of your results. The final victory margin for Wayne Maxwell, 1.599 seconds over his teammate Josh Waters. Crew Halliday in third, Herfoss in fourth, just fractionally off the podium. Mike Jones, a great ride in fifth place. Brian Starring in sixth, Glenn Allerton seventh, Senna Agis, sensational debut this weekend on board a Superbike in eighth. Arthur CC's in ninth, and Daniel Fownsland rounds out the top 10.
11th, Brock Pearson. We haven't heard much of him this weekend. Jed Metcher got a great result in race one. Benny Burke on the number 60 there. Good result from him. Billy McConnell. Matt Waters finished today too, which is good to see. Ted Collins back to the championship. Welcome back. Bo Beaton 17th, and 18th, Maxi Stauffer from the pit lane.
Crew Halliday from the Yamaha Racing Team. You weren't happy with race one, but race two, a P3. Congratulations, you've turned it around.
Yeah, thanks, Kate. Yeah, yesterday wasn't the most ideal conditions. I'm not going to lie, and everyone knows it's probably my weakest point in the wet. It's something I need to improve on for next year. But it's all said and done. It was yesterday, but today, we had a great setup in qualifying. I noticed a lot of guys use two tyres in qualifying. We only used one, so it was probably our mistake that we didn't use two and get a bit further up there in the start of the qualifying. So, coming from row 3, it's a little hard when you got Wayne and Josh riding so good. So, to come back and get on the podium, it's a great deal for Yamaha, and just pumped with it. Looking forward to the next race.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, in P2, Josh Waters. A very successful weekend for you so far. A formidable team you and Wayne are. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, it was good. The start of the race, I think I was back to 4th or 5th, and the wind, geez, it was blowing us around. So Troy had a huge moment, and I was able to capitalise on that, and then put my head down, and then it was good. Great for the team to get a 1-2, and I really enjoy riding the Ducati.
Well done, Josh. We'll see you in the next race. And in P1, Wayne Maxwell with some very important championship points there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. My team, Boost Mobile with K-Tech, it shows how good the boys work, and to have a top rider like Josh come in and play wingman for me, I'm sure if he wanted to win that race, I would have had a lot more hard work. So massive thanks to him for playing his role in the team. My guys yesterday, I apologise for that. That was sort of unnecessary, just one of those things. And when we look back at yesterday, we sort of can see that we would have been really made a real dent in the championship where we could have got a strong result yesterday. But we've moved on, and let's see if we can repeat it again this afternoon.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Good luck out there for the next race.
Yeah, massive thanks. And obviously to Pirelli, just the absolute domination of the tyres, unbelievable, so consistent. So big thanks to them, to their commitment for not only me, but the whole sport.
Thanks, Wayne.
Only a couple of corners to go until they grid up on the grid for the final time this weekend, and we go racing for the Alpine Stars Superbike class. Remember, this is the penultimate round. There are only 2 races left next weekend at the grand finale at the Ben Motorsport Park after the conclusion of this race.
Yeah, this one's going to be an absolute ripper. I can't wait to see this one go. Everyone's had a couple of opportunities now to change and tweak their bikes, find those last tenths, fix some problems that they've had. We should see the likes of Troy Herfoss be more competitive further up.
Well, front row of the grid is Josh Waters with that new record lap. Daniel Falzon in second, and Wayne Maxwell, the man that is trying to claw back points on Mike Jones, in third place. In the second row of the grid is Brian Starring, Mike Jones and Ant West.
Troy Herfoss, Crew Halliday and Glenn Allerton are your third row. Arthur CC, Senna Agis, great job by him this weekend, and Jed Metcher round out row 4.
Brock Pearson, Bo Beaton and Billy McConnell back on row 5, with Max Stauffer, Ted Collins and Matt Walters back on row 6. Massive shout out to Senna Agis. That ride in race number 2 was absolutely sensational, and also good to see Max Stauffer get out there after some early difficulties. But we're ready to go racing. Final time for the Alpine Stars Superbike class this weekend. Lights are on. Superbikes are go. Good start once again from Falzon, but I think Waters has got the jump this time on board the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech machine. And as they make their way down towards turn 1, it is Glenn Allerton moving forward, but not quite enough to take the lead, because that lead was Wayne Maxwell, and then around the outside was Josh Waters.
Yeah, that was so tight. Crew Halliday was up there too. Mike Jones got a better start this time round. Arthur Cece's got the start that he always seems to get. So Arthur Cece's up there in 4th or 5th position at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Glenn Allerton. He was on the move, and then as they come out of turn 1, he was back in about 8th or 9th position. Just having a look, now he's 9th position back there on that Spectro Racing Oils BMW, and as they come down in towards turn 4 for the first time, oh, it is Maxwell is down once again. He hit the back end of Troy Herfoss's machine on the entry into turn 4, and that's 2 DNFs, it looks like, for Wayne Maxwell at this round.
He certainly did not need to do that, and Mike Jones would have seen that. That has certainly taken the pressure off Mike Jones, who sits there right up behind Herfoss at the moment. Let's see if they can get that bike going. It's all over. I can tell you what, Maxwell will not be happy. Let's have another look on the replay. He's gone up the inside. Herfoss has come across. No room there. He just tried to make that move too early. The line got chopped off, and it was all over for Wayne Maxwell.
Looked like Arthur Cece's also had to change his line, so he's lost a couple of positions as well, Arthur, as they come up round the top end of the circuit now for the first time. Our runaway leader is Josh Waters. Herfoss in second. Jones trying to go around the outside in turn 12 in third position.
Well, it looks like the Yamaha team have found some pace too from the earlier races that we've had. As he moves into second place past the Seabauer Honda. And good move, good job there by Mike Jones. This is a good comeback for him.
Well, Jones is showing a lot more pace in this one, but remember last time out, it was his teammate Crew Halliday that had all the pace.
Yeah.
Halliday at the moment is back in 11th position behind Ant West and Arthur Cece's.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, there was quite a bottleneck into turn 1 off the start line, and I just feel that he got caught up in that melee, which is certainly not helping him. Brian Starring, he's back down the pack a little bit too, so not the best start for Starring. A lot of work to do for him. Senna Agis is doing a good job there behind that gaggle of riders. He's in 7th position at the moment.
Yeah, right on the back of Starring's Desmo Sport Ducati, and also in front of Jed Metzer, Arthur Cece's Crew Halliday, Ant West. Brock Pearson back in 12th position. Maxie Stover's up to 13th position. Matt Walters in 14th. Billy McConnell in 15th. Ben Burke 16th. Alistair Hugenbosen in 17th. Travis Wyman all the way from the Moto American Championship has just moved up to 17th, getting the better of McConnell. And looks like McConnell, something may have happened to him because he's dropping back down through the order.
Yeah, it's been a tough weekend for Billy McConnell, but I'm sure we'll see him at the Bend next weekend, firing on all cylinders.
Halliday's on a move. He just put a big overtaking manoeuvre on down the hill in towards turn 10. So we'll keep our eye on board bike number 65. He just got the better of Ant West, and he's moved up into 10th now. Josh
Waters is on a mission. He's 1.3 seconds in front of this group now. As he comes up over the line shortly, we'll get a lap time for you, but I think it's going to be a pretty impressive one for his first flying lap out there. Over he goes, slipstream for the Honda man, Herfoss, and he makes his way past. It is a 32.8 first time through.
Oh, Herfoss. How was the corner run-in speed into turn 1 from Herfoss? It was almost like he didn't let the brakes on at all coming down there, and he's got the better of Jones. Allerton has closed right up as well on board the M1000RR. Right behind Allerton, making a move on the inside the narrow line was Brian Starring, trying to get up the inside of Daniel Falzon, who's hanging with the leaders at the moment on board the William Adams Cat Yamaha R1. Great to see the privateer from South Australia. Once again,
that is
someone
wide.
Very wide. That was Falzon, I think, that was taking the Troy Herfoss line from race 2.
Gee.
Right out onto the ripple strip on the exit of turn 3. And Allerton, look at that, up into 3rd place now.
Yeah, he's doing a real good job, is Allerton, to get past Mike Jones there. And he's showed great speed all throughout this weekend. Of course, new sponsors, the Spectro Performance Oils, Film BMW, doing a great job on their debut here this weekend. It's taken these guys a little while to settle down. It's been a little bit all over the place at the moment, hasn't it?
Daniel Falzon was actually the fastest man on the first flying lap with a 1:32.842. And as they settle into lap number 3 now, down to KP for a quick report.
Yeah, I've got Craig McMartin here, Wayne Maxwell's team boss. Just a comment from you, Craig.
Well, I don't know what to say, really. That's racing, I suppose, isn't it? Maybe, I don't know. It's disappointing, but championship-wise, but we've still got I'll wait for the bikes. Still got Josh in the race. So yeah, we'll just concentrate on Josh, and yeah, hopefully he can bring it home for the team anyway. So maybe get the round win, hopefully, and yeah, well, championship's not looking good now, so let's go to Taylor and Bendon and see what we can do.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Josh Waters would have got the message that Wayne Maxwell is out due to this incident on the AMX replay. down there at turn 4, Miller Corner. Geez, we've seen a lot of incidents there over the last month or so. Since it was renamed Miller Corner, there's been a lot of incidents. Oh no, we've got a couple of others down. Looks like, is that Crew Halliday
and
holding up his hand, Senna Adjus?
Yep.
And it looked like there's someone else in there as well. Daniel Valson, it looks like as well.
A few guys down there. It's going to be interesting to see. You can see that the airbag's gone off there on Senna Adjus' suit as well. So let's see if we can get a replay there. They come into the braking area. Senna is around the outside there. That's Falzon. Falzon lost the front. Like they're all blaming everyone, but you know, racing incident. Just looks like Falzon lost the front there. Probably just got on the gas a little bit too much. The weight come off the front, down it went. Everyone else was concertining behind him, and bang, that's how that happens.
And unfortunately, Crew was on the outside. The first person to get taken out when you lose the front is the person on the outside, and Senna had nowhere to go. So we're back to this hectic battle now for second position, currently being led by Troy Herfoss.
And Starring's brought himself back into this. He's able to stay with these guys now, isn't he? So it's good to see Brian Starring and Desmo Sport Ducati regrouping after race 2, and he's doing a good job at hanging in there. Definite podium shot.
Well, and the other thing is that Brian Starring also realises that he is on now for second place in the championship behind Mike Jones, who will go to the next round at Tailem Bend next weekend with a pretty handy points buffer over both Wayne Maxwell and Brian Starring. Troy Herfoss wants nothing more than put this 5-blade on the podium, and if he can, try and reel back in Josh Waters, who now has a very substantial 3.5-second lead. He's also set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:32.644. Compared to his race time from race 1 earlier on today, Wayne Maxwell's fastest lap at 1:32.186. Conditions are about half a second slower, it looks like, at the moment.
Well,
this is an awesome battle. These guys aren't going to be setting super fast lap times because they're carving each other up.
Absolutely, and they're all behind Herfoss at the moment. And I think that the CBR at the moment on new tyres, I think it's like really good, but they've got to do a little bit more work on used tyres. You can just see there as Herfoss got on the gas out of that corner, it was moving and bucking out of the corner, not good. Also the Yamaha of Mike Jones, similar sort of thing, a lot of spinning and sliding from the rear of these bikes now, so that new tyre grip has disappeared. Now it's all about setup.
Now this is where the rider at the back of this pack on board bike number 13 could very well come into the equation. Ant West has been fast all weekend. They've found something with that MotoGo Yamaha, and he's now on the back of this 5-bike train that is battling for second position. It is still Herfoss in the lead with Jones, Starring, Allerton, but look out for Ant West, because at the end of the race, his Dunlops will probably have a fraction more grip.
Well, we'll find out, but West has certainly come from nowhere. He's caught right up to the back of this group now, and he'll be taking a bit of a breath. He's still got 6 laps to do something. A lot of traffic to get past. There'll be a lot of hard work, but I tell you what, Ant West, he's a fighter, we know that.
His fastest lap at 32.9 on lap 3 for Ant West. In fact, Troy Herfoss hasn't managed to do a 1:32 in this race. Neither has Mike Jones. So outright pace, Ant West on board bike number 13, the MotoGo Yamaha, is right up there. Just had a look on the last lap. It was 33.0 for Waters, 33.9 for Herfoss, 33.9 for Starring, 33.8 for Jones, 33.9 for Allerton, and a 33.0 for Ant West.
Tell you who else is having a great race. Jed Metcher, 727 Motorsports in 7th position, just behind this group too. So keep an eye on Jed Metcher at the back of your screen there. If these guys can't get past Herfoss on the Honda, he might join the fray.
Also to Brock Pearson and Maxi Stouffer in 9th and 10th position as well. The two Superbike rookies having a great battle back there for the positions inside the top 10. Looks like a pretty good battle between the two Kawasaki's of Matt Walters and Ben Burke as well.
Starring's gone through now on Herfoss, but Herfoss late on the brakes, a little bit more top speed. Allerton looks up the inside too.
Well, Troy Herfoss commented before race 2 that these conditions are something that he likes because it's a bit challenging and it makes the racing just that little bit harder. And when it comes down to putting in the hard work, well, Troy Herfoss is not scared of doing that, as Crew Halliday has made it back to the pits. Obviously some problem with the Yamaha racing team R1 after that incident down there at turn 4.
Well, he's going to head back out. Everything looks okay. He's going to head back out and at least finish the race and not finish on a bad note.
So it's still Herfoss that leads, but Starring has worked his way forward now up into 3rd position. Allerton in 4th. Mike Jones has slipped back to 5th place. Westy in 6th.
Yeah, Westies was able to catch that group quite easily, but if you think to the race we've had before, just race 2, he lost the front, so I'd say he's got front confidence problems on passing. So although he's caught these guys, out-braking them is going to be probably difficult. He's taking his time to try and weigh up where he's going to do it safely.
Well, Herfoss still leads. This is his 50th ASBK round start on board a Superbike this weekend, and he's running the special 30th anniversary Honda Firebraid livery on board the machine, the special Mick Doohan-inspired helmet, and the Alpine Stars leathers as well. Was that Weston just running very wide on the exit, or the entry into turn 12 then, Steve? And it looks like where's he gone off the back of this pack. So it looks like Westy's had a problem up there at the top end of the circuit.
Yeah, he's definitely gone, isn't he? Like, is that him all the way behind Jed Metcher now? Oh, and Allerton's one way wide too there. He's got a flat tyre. That's the issue. The tyre's gone.
Well, we saw a flat tyre at the first round at that exact same corner with Tommy Edwards in the Supersport category.
Yes, so normally when that happens, you can pick something up, or there's just a lot of stresses on these. So I would say that he's perhaps either overstressed the tyre, they've gone for a soft compound rather than a safe compound, or, which is, it does happen on a racetrack, he may also have just hit some sort of object which has flattened it.
Quick update from KP.
We've got Dion Coote here, team owner of Penrite Honda. Troy Herfoss, what would a podium mean to him? Can he hang on to this race pace?
Yeah, look, I think he's holding second well now. He's got 3 people breathing down his neck. But, yeah, this podium would be very important to Troy. Yeah, it would be a special moment for him to get back to Phillip Island the way he should be.
Thanks, Dion.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dion's looking a little bit nervous there, isn't he? And as you would, still 4 laps to go of this 12-lap race, and Herfoss is there, but there's a lot of pressure on him. So if he does finish second with all of that pressure behind him, it's going to mean a lot.
Well, the other thing is that Troy Herfoss loves nothing more than rolling the sleeves up and having a good old hard-fashioned stout for a position on the podium as they come across the line to complete 8 laps. It is Jones that goes into the lead. Starring goes with him as well. Herfoss drops back a couple of positions. Allerton is still there. Then it's quite a large gap back to Jed Metcher, taking up the running now in 6th position. Arthur CC's up to 7th. Pearson up to 8th. Stouffer in 9th. Ben Burke rounds out the top 10 with Matt Walters in 11th. Alistair Hugenbosen in 12th. And Travis Wyman has made his way up with a little bit of carnage that we've seen into 13th position.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this now, because Mike Jones obviously sitting behind Herfoss for quite a while there. The lap times are in the higher 33s, so we'll keep an eye on the lap times and see if Jonesy stretches that pace out, probably tries and drops a bit. Meanwhile, we haven't even mentioned our leader, Josh Waters. He's like 5 seconds up the road.
Yeah, just circulating very consistently in the mid to high 33s is our race leader, Josh Waters, on that Boost Mobile racing with K-Tech machine. As you can see, an AMX replay there of Mike Jones coming down the inside. Brian Starring going past as well. Allerton ran a little bit wide on the exit. Herfoss showed once again he had great corner, mid-corner and exit speed. There's our race leader. We've definitely got the message that his teammate Wayne Maxwell is out after that incident at turn 4. So free rein now for Josh Waters to take the race win. And if they stay in exactly the same order as they are now, 287 points for Mike Jones, 246 for Brian Starring heading into the last round. So that would be a 41-point championship lead.
Yeah, and Wayne Maxwell, the big loser, back down there in 3rd place, still staying on that 238 points. And look at Herfoss. He's actually in with a shot too, if he gets 2 good results at the bend and a good result here, of moving up into perhaps 3rd in the championship.
Well, and you heard what Maxwell said, was it yesterday afternoon when he was talking to KP. He actually said that if you're not first, well, it doesn't really matter. So I don't think he's worried about coming 2nd or 3rd in the championship. He desperately wanted to win that championship and make it 3 in a row.
Here he goes up the inside. That's a big
Herfoss. How sideways was he? He's both run both Allerton and himself very wide into turn 4. I don't think Allerton's all that happy with that by the body language and the head shake there.
Yeah, that was a late braking manoeuvre up the inside, but he made it through. But yeah, definitely took Allerton wide there. So I'm sure they'll be having a bit of a discussion about that afterwards.
And I think that shows how determined Troy Herfoss is to try and get that bike up onto the podium.
Absolutely.
He's got a bit of work to do now to catch up to his former teammate Brian Starring, because Starring's got a few bike lengths lead, courtesy of Herfoss running a little bit wide there, but Herfoss has got a couple of laps to try and reel back that distance now.
Yeah, he certainly has. I mean, when he actually got overtaken on that straight by those, by the whole group of guys, actually, I noticed that just before that he hit a puddle. Let's just have a look there. Look, he's sideways in there, just goes through, leaves Allerton nowhere to go. He's lucky that there was a bit of a gap there, because he could not have braked or tipped in any more than that. That was like on the absolute limit.
Well, and Allerton was lucky that there was a bit of asphalt on the outside of the track as well, and not grass, because otherwise that would have been Allerton down at turn 4. Another one to add to the collection of turn 4 victims in this race.
Well, Starring there sitting in 3rd position at the moment. I'm sure he wants to try and get past Jones if he can. Jones won't want to be playing any shenanigans at the moment, will he? He wants to stay safe.
Well, and he realises he's got a very handy points lead over Brian Starring. And the difference is, was that something falling off there? I think that was Brian Starring's wing, because Brian Starring and Mike Jones came into contact there. You can see the wing missing off the left-hand side of the Desmo Sport Ducati. That's now on the outside of Stoner Corner, lying in the gravel trap.
Well, there's the first warning shot. That's how desperate Brian Starring is to get through. Touching going into that corner, that's like just one of the scariest corners to enter. It's pretty much the front's real light there, and boy, so easy to go wide, but he got away with it.
And the other thing is, how is that going to affect the handling of the Desmo Sport Ducati over these final 2 laps?
Well, the wings on these road bikes, as we have another look there, Mike's tipped in, and look how close Brian Starring is. He clips the back wheel, tries to carry more speed in there. The reason he's done that is to help him into the braking area. I think Mike Jones knows now that he's got company. And you can see on the brakes there as well, like he's hard on the brakes, nearly running into the back of Mike Jones too, but gets a good drive onto the straight, the Starring in the slipstream again. Herfoss still making no headway. That's about a 1.5 second or a 1 second gap to Starring, so it looks like he's going to be where he is. But Starring now, all to play for. Waters has got this one to lose with a 3.5 second lead, but boy, keep an eye on these 2 guys.
Well, on the previous lap, it was both Mike Jones and Brian Starring battling. The lap before that, they'd both set their fastest laps of the race.
Watch this. He's up the inside. Starring's gone the inside this time and made the pass clean.
That was a big move from Brian Starring, considering they just dropped about 0.7 of a second off in their lap times over the last lap due to that hectic battle. And what this has done is brought Troy Herfoss back into the equation as well, because Herfoss is closing them down, and as they get up towards the top end of the circuit, it could be right for Troy Herfoss to try and put a manoeuvre on Jones to try and get back up onto the podium as well.
Definitely found more grip in the rear end of that Ducati this time around. The Desmo Sport team have been working hard, but it's all about this man, Josh Waters. What a comeback to racing.
He's had no problem with side grip on that bike all weekend, Josh Waters, and he's riding off into the sunset. His lead is over 3 seconds as we come round through the final corners now. But this is where the real interest is. Down into turn 10 for the final time. Jones can't put a move on Brian Starring. Looks like Starring may hang on for 2nd position, but Jones gets great drive out of turn 12, and it will be a very close run to the line as these 2 come down the Gardner Straight for the final time. But no doubting who our race winner is. It is the 2nd Boost Mobile race victory for the weekend, and they'll celebrate. Josh Waters takes a victory in race 3. Brian Starring holds on for 2nd, Jones in 3rd. Troy Herfoss just misses out on the podium for the 2nd time this weekend. Another 4th place for the Penrite Honda in Troy Herfoss's 50th ASBK Superbike round. Congratulations to Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech and Josh Waters. What a sensational ride. A fastest lap of the race of 1:32.644 and a victory by over 2.3 seconds.
Yeah, I think it could have been more than that, but Josh was really lapping it up. He slowed down. He was in the 34s on those last couple of laps. So a brilliant ride by him. Bit of a discussion going on there between those guys.
I think that was Herfoss and Waters just discussing what happened down there at turn 4 early on in that race, and why there was no bike number 1 at the end of that race.
Well, I think the discussion will be with Herfoss and Maxwell later on.
Well, they've had some titanic struggles over the years, and unfortunately that one resulted in one of them crashing out at turn 4. But there is confirmation of your results. Josh Waters takes the win by 2.374 seconds over Brian Starring. Mike Jones in 3rd. Troy Herfoss in 4th. Allerton back up to 5th place after that incident with Herfoss at turn 4. Metcher in 6th. Arthur Cece's in 7th. Brock Pearson in 8th. Max Stouffer in 9th. And Ben Burke rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, that was a great result for Max Stouffer too. Matty Walters in 11th. Alistair Hugenbosen in 12th. Travis Wyman gets 13th from America. Good result from him. Brendan McIntyre in 14th. Last point, Trent Benazzi. Good for him on the Suzuki. Paris Hardwick. Sloane Frost from New Zealand in 17th. Billy McConnell 19th, the last of our finishers. And there's a whole gaggle of guys that pretty much had issues throughout the race.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ted Collins in there as well, crashed out or didn't make it to the finish leg out early in that race. But Josh Waters extremely happy with his results over the weekend. There's Craig just explaining to Josh Waters what happened.
Yeah, you can just see in the background there the World Pirelli guys as well. The guys from the World Pirelli having a bit of a look at the teams and seeing what's going on too. So let's have a listen.
You can't control that. You can't control what he done, mate. Yeah, he didn't.
The first question Josh Waters asked, is he all right? I think that goes to show the character of Josh Waters. Let's have a look at the Honda highlights of Superbike race number 3. And it was Wayne Maxwell and Josh Waters that got off to very good starts as they came round through turn 2 for the first time. The field was getting away well, but Mike Jones has got one of his best starts of the race so far. And then this big incident, this championship impacting moment at turn 4.
Yeah, and you can see the head shakes there. At that point, Wayne Maxwell knew it was over and makes his way back to the pits, all to do it again next weekend. Herfoss and Mike Jones down the straight. This was going to mean a lot, but in the meantime, out front, look at the number 21, Josh Waters. He was blasting off into the distance.
That was pretty much the last time the field saw Josh Waters, because then they were involved in their own titanic struggle. Jones, Herfoss, Allerton, Falzon at that stage was in the battle as well. And then we saw this moment at turn 4. Falzon loses the front end, unfortunately takes out an innocent Crew Halliday, and also Senna Adjust nowhere to go in that incident as well. He was out of the race after what had been a sensational debut on board the Penrite Honda Fireblade.
Brian Starring didn't want to finish 5th, did he? He was working his way through the pack. Allerton was there up the inside too. There was a bunch of guys that wanted to get on that podium positions, and then it was Starring that was side by side with Herfoss as they headed down the straight, but that CBR had the gas down the straight. On the brakes late he was too, and they just get behind Starring there, and then once again, bang, always everyone was just caught up behind him.
Yeah, Ed West had caught up to this lead group, and then unfortunately this moment, a flat tyre after he was looking poised to try and make a manoeuvre on these riders for a position on the podium. It would have been his first podium of the year. Then this big moment, Herfoss up the inside of Glenn Allerton. They both run wide. Allerton lucky not to end up on the grass. And then another one in the same sort of area at the track on the exit of turn 3. Brian Starring hitting the back end of Mike Jones's machine and losing a wing on the Desmo Sport Ducati V4R.
Yeah, doesn't get much closer than that, but it was this man, number 21, that crossed the line, and what a win it was. Let's head down to KP.
Mike Jones, a very handy points lead going to the bend for Yamaha. What did you think when you saw Wayne Maxwell go down?
Oh, look, it happened again, and I just honestly could not believe it. I just, I really hope that Wayne is okay. First and foremost, he's a strong competitor, and whilst I may dislike him as a competitor, I certainly don't wish any harm on anyone. So, firstly, I hope that he's okay. Secondly, of course, as we're challenging for the championship, the points are so important for us. So it takes a relief off heading into the next round. I was hoping that I'd be a little bit stronger here this weekend overall, but hey, you have to take the good with the bad, and we roll on to the bend, and I think we'll be pretty strong there.
Great ride, nonetheless.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And in P2, Brian Starring, some excellent battles out there for the Desmo Sport Ducati. You even lost a wing.
Yeah, that was pretty close to action-packed racing, wasn't it? I've come back with one less wing, which I've only got myself to blame for. But I don't know. I think I'd be scared if I was on the sideline, but I don't know why it's different on the bike.
Well done, a fantastic P2.
Thank you. I'm glad this weekend I've managed to beat my championship rivals in 2 out of the 3 races. It's the best I could manage, and big thanks to my personal sponsors, Consent to Go, Y-Mark and Surety Life. Very sweet strawberries, thanks.
Thanks, Brian. And in P1, fastest lap and a victory. Josh Waters, a great start, a dominant performance. Is this Waters 2.0 or what?
Yeah, huge thanks to the team, Boost Mobile, with K-Tech suspension. It was awesome. So gutted for Wayne. Yeah, but really, really happy this weekend for me. It's been awesome. So hopefully we can roll over to the Bend and I can challenge there also. But yeah, and we can get, you know, some more 1-2s for our team.
It's great to see you at the front. Congratulations. Enjoy this win.
Thank you.